Hello, and welcome back to Minecraft. It's been a busy week for me, both in real life and in the game. So let me show you what I've been doing and also tell you what's been going on. The first thing is that last episode we went ahead and we got the conduit. And in my time away this last week, I've been working on the lake. I have gone through and I have exchanged all of the blocks out for mud. So now our entire lake here in front of the house is mud. This took a very long time, but I had a lot of time on my hands to do it, and I'll talk about why later. The next thing that I did was I went ahead and I went to the Nether. I figured we've spent a lot of time there recently, so I didn't really need to show it on camera, but I went there in search of a dried ghast. I found my first piece of ancient debris, stumbled upon a bastion for the first time, as well as finally got some gold and decided to barter with piglins until I got a dried ghast. And here he is. He's in my inventory. We have one dried ghast. Hopefully, in the future, I'll be able to find some more. The very last thing that I did is down here. I was running out of space in my storage room. It was originally just this line here and a couple of barrels right here, and it just wasn't cutting it anymore. I was having a hard time fitting all the different woods into those chests. I didn't have enough space for my ores or for cobblestone or stone, so I went ahead and I extended this and just kind of duplicated the design a little further along. I did almost run into some problems here because right here, right above here, is the lake. So I had to be really careful, but I was able to get the design in and modify just a few blocks up top so that it wasn't noticeable. For now, some of my chests are still empty and unlabeled, but the ones that I do have stuff in have some simple little labels on the side. This should help me keep way more organized in the future. Some of these are very general terms like sand, and some of these are kind of locations like biomes. So, Badlands, the Guardian Temple, the Coral Biome, the Mycelium stuff, etc. As much as this was a much needed upgrade, I didn't think that you guys wanted to sit through hours of me sorting my inventory, so I went ahead and I wanted to get that done off camera. I think that gets you guys caught up on all of the things that I got done in Minecraft over the last week. And that kind of leads me into what I want to do today. So I've got these guys over here, and you can see that we have this pillar that's been here for a few episodes, and it says we need to get rid of this temporary stable so we can extend this path further along down the road. Last episode, we used our donkey, Pepperjack, to get a lot done. And in between episodes, I used Pepperjack even more to go and haul all of the mud from the swamp way that direction back over here so that I would have a little bit of an easier working on this lake. I want to give them a place to live that's very suitable and nice compared to this little tiny dinky shack that they've been hooked up to for probably more than 5 episodes now. And in addition, I want to give this dried ghast somewhere to live as well, because I don't want him just floating around everywhere and hard to get to when I want to use him. So, the plan for this stable has been for the last few episodes that it's going to go over here. And I've done a little bit of testing and kind of planning in a creative world to kind of figure out what I want to do here, just to mainly make sure that the ghast will fit in and everything like that. And it's supposed to go up here. I'm going to be connecting this path right here up and over, and then it will eventually connect from there up as well so that we can get here quite more easily. Before we get started building, I'd like to show you guys that I updated our book and quill. These are the things that we still need to get done in the starting area. We've got the stables, which we're going to work on today. I would like to get a horse, a mule, and the ghast. I would like to remove the temporary stable over there. And then we've got some other stuff which we will eventually get to as well. I also have an extra page in here just to remind me that I still have those trail ruins to go to and explore as well. So let me start getting some stuff ready and plotting out the area, probably clearing a bunch of this out so that the stables will even fit here. Here's a little bit of an update on our progress. So I've got an outline of what the building is kind of going to look like. That will be the entrance over there. The pathway will continue here, and then it'll continue down the hill there to connect over to that one. There'll be 2 stables on each side for the camel, the donkey, the mule, and a horse. And then back here is where I'm going to be putting the ghast. And I have tested in creative to make sure that he will fit in here. So hopefully I did that correctly and it wasn't some kind of weirdness with the with being in creative world. So hopefully he'll fit back here. I think it is wide enough. I think 5 by 5 is good. And the roof should be tall enough that I should be able to get off of it. I've started to pull a lot of this hill back over here. I still have a long ways to go, but I figured I would at least show you kind of what we're working with. I'll need to do some terraforming here so that this isn't on a cliff because that looks ridiculous. So yeah, we've still got quite a lot of work to do on the terraforming before we can even get started building. Hello, sir? Let's see, do you have anything useful? You have some good stuff with the saplings, but nothing I need right now. Thank you very much, sir. I've gotten all of the terraforming done. That looks more like a hill now, and this tapers down. But now I'm kind of deciding that maybe this is in the wrong position. I'm thinking maybe the entrance shouldn't be there. Maybe the entrance should be on this side. I think I might like that more, so I'm going to give that a shot. All right, I think that's looking much better from the other angle. That'll give us more space for the outside edges of these stables here. And also, that means that when we're on the ghast, we can kind of get out of here a little bit more clearly. Looks like an Enderman was doing some terraforming with me as well. I think this will work out a lot better. It was looking kind of weird with the ghast exit being that direction towards that large hill. And up here I had to do quite a lot of terraforming, so I'm going to have to plant some more trees back in because it's very plain and flat up here. We might just plant some vanilla trees for now because I'm not sure if I want to use this area for anything just yet, but I think that'll be cool. And over here, from the entrance, now that it's on this side, I think this gives us more space to maybe put something here as well. First thing I'm going to do, though, is clear some of this extra stuff from terraforming out. I think I'm going to go ahead and leave the dirt and some extra logs in the coal that I got here, but everything else, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to need right now. Well, I might leave some leaf litter just in case I want to decorate it. But everything else I think we're good with. Welcome back in after a bunch of building. I'm ready to show you guys what the main structure is looking like for the stables. I also wanted to show you the path up because I got that completed as well. So here's what we're looking like. I think it's looking pretty decent, but obviously we got to fill in a lot of little extra details and stuff. I've started doing a little bit of the work on the ground area around it. We've got our ghast exit back here. The ghast is going to go in this little compartment here. I think that'll be really good. I still need to clean up the terraforming that the Enderman did because that's kind of silly. But I think we're looking pretty good. The moss does look a little bit crazy in the swamp area, but what I kind of tried to do is add some of these bits of grass to kind of help diffuse some of the bright color. I still think I'm going to go ahead and leave it. I think it doesn't look too terrible, and I'm going to try to add some extra stuff in as well and see if that helps. I'm seeing a wandering trader over there. We'll go visit him in a minute. Here's what the inside's looking like. I tried to make it pretty bright in here. Don't want anything spawning and hurting our mounts. That would be very unfortunate. And right now I have a little bit of a setup of stuff that we might need. Just some stuff in here that I think we might need. Some of it's junk like the poppies and the dandelions and the seeds and stuff. We'll bring those in when we're done. And of course this connects back over here to the wheat field. So that's pretty good. Let's see what this gentleman has. Oh, and we got griefed by an Enderman over here as well. Let's see, anything special? The red sand isn't bad if we didn't have access to the biome that has red sand, so that's not a bad one. And the vines and the kelp are also good, but I don't think we need to get any of this right now. Some really good trades, though, especially if you're hurting for finding those things early game. Not too bad. Thank you, sir. Clean that up. As it's starting to get dark, you can really see I've added some firefly bushes kind of hidden around. You can see this one hasn't grown grass, but there's one hidden underneath there. I might add some above ground firefly bushes as well, but I thought adding the ones underground would be really good. I figure there might be some bugs around if you've got like a stable like this, because I imagine it would be a little bit smelly. But I thought that added a little bit of ambiance around here and made it look kind of nice and kind of magical as well. So let me grab some of this extra stuff and then we're going to start decorating around the place so that it looks a little bit better. And before I get started, I want to mention that eventually I want to build something here, but I don't think I'm going to build it today. So for right now, it's just kind of a little mossy field. But I think I might build something more interesting right here later so it's not so plain. I didn't want to add a bunch of trees because I do somewhat have a plan of something to go here. Okay, I think this is what we're going to need. Some coarse dirt just in case, leaf litter. I had one short grass left over from doing all the manicuring I was doing. Might add that in somewhere. We got the wildflowers, bushes, firefly bushes, short dry grass, and the tall dry grass. Those are the things I for sure am going to want to add. And I realized I don't have ferns. So at some point, I'm going to need to get ferns. I somehow completely missed those, which is very unfortunate. So I'll have to get those at some point. But for now, I don't have them. So we'll have to make do with what we have. As I'm going about and I'm making some of the placements on some of these items, I want to talk about where I've been because I've been gone for a little while. So, last week for me, we had some unexpected maintenance that needed to be done to our apartment, and the maintenance needed to be done in our apartment specifically. The maintenance work was very constructional, and so that meant that they were using a lot of things that were quite loud and kind of obnoxious, and that meant that I couldn't record while they were busy doing their work. This ended up taking quite a few days, but that was fine because they were doing us a major favor by fixing the stuff that they were fixing. They actually worked rather quickly considering the amount of work that they needed to do, which was basically that a part of the wall needed to be reconstructed. So, quite impressive that they got it done in under a week. But the other part of being gone is that while we were moving everything around so that they could get to the wall that they needed to repair, I ended up injuring myself. I ended up hurting my neck and shoulders. And so I had to take the time to recover from that rather than sitting on the computer because I was in quite a significant amount of pain. I'm fairly familiar with injuring my back and my neck and my shoulders. I've been hurting that part of my body since I was really young. But that doesn't make the pain any easier to go through every time that it happens. I've learned that it's better to just really take the time to focus on healing. Otherwise, it gets just really awful and it's hard to go through. But luckily for me, during all of that time, I was able to work on the lake over there, getting all that mud done, because that was a huge project that I've been thinking about wanting to get done for a really long time, and I'm really happy that it is done. That's a major project that I wasn't sure if I could finish before we kind of move out of the starter area, because the goal here is to kind of finish up the starter area and then kind of find a new area to dilly-dally around in so I can kind of learn more about building and playing the game and stuff like that. I don't want to stay here forever. I think I've been trying to find kind of a consistent way to upload my videos, and it just hasn't been working as well as I have wanted it to. A lot of things keep coming up. I'm very prone to being ill and not feeling super well, and so I kind of am trying to figure out how making videos is going to work with that, because this is kind of something that requires a little bit more consistency, and that's not necessarily something that's super easy for me. And I think that other people who struggle with, being well all the time, they'll understand that that's kind of hard to keep a routine schedule if you don't really know how your body is going to react to things. So I'm doing my best and I'm trying to find like the medium ground here so that way I am still making videos even when I'm not super well. I think it's finally starting to look a lot better around here. A little less vanilla. Pretty happy with that. Next, we got to figure out any extra details that we want to add in here. And of course, do a sleep. It's not super noticeable in here, but I am adding a little bit of leaf litter just for some variety in here. And I'm going to be doing that for all of the little stalls. I've added just a little bit of detail in here. It's not too busy, just the leaf litter on the floor and then some hay bales and some barrels. Not quite sure what else to add in here, so if you guys have any suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And if I find anything that I think I can build, I'll go ahead and add it into here. Next step is to clean up all this junk that I have up here. I think I'm going to leave the crafting bench in case I need it. And then I'm going to start bringing over the guys that we already have. Hello, sir. I'm going to start bringing over Pepperjack and our camel and get them in here. And then it'll be time to start getting the two mounts that we're missing, which is a horse and a mule, as well as undrying our ghast. We got to get work on that soon, too. First things first, let's take Pepperjack over there. There's a nice new home for Pepperjack. Next, we're going to grab our camel, but first, we've got to name him. And I'm going to go with Gazebo. I know that he's not a gazebo, but it just sounds like a good name for a camel, and I'm not sure why. So that's why he's Gazebo. Let's bring Gazebo over. Now, Gazebo, I'm going to leave leaded to this area because in my experience, camels are escape artists, and he will get out of here somehow. So he's going to stay there just so I don't lose him. I'm pretty sure they can jump over 2 or 3 block areas. I'm not quite sure, but I know he'll get out of there. He does not obey the laws of the gates or the fences. Every time I've had a camel before, they've escaped. Every time. So he's going to stay leaded there because I don't want to lose him. He was such a pain to get home, and I love him, and I don't want him to go anywhere. Next, I think we're going to go get our first horse, and there is a horse available, and I know where it is. That is a coloring that I really like. So I'm going to head over there. He's just that way in the village that's over there, and I'm going to get him and bring him home. So very early on in our playthrough, I spotted this guy down here in this little paddock that they have, and I knew I was going to want to bring him with me, this slightly lighter brown one with the black spots. Definitely want to bring him home. I just got to tame him. There we go. He was a feisty one. Lots of health and a decent jump, but he is slow, and that is okay. Maybe eventually we'll be looking for a horse that's specifically the fastest horse ever, but for now, this is a good one. For a minute here, we're going to put our new horse in here with our donkey so that we can get a mule. A little guy. Oh, he's so little. Nice. Okay, now we can move them to their respective pens. And they're all settled in. And this fine gentleman shall be Reishi, and this tiny little one will be Muskeg. So these two right here are so named because of the game The Long Dark. I asked my partner for a noun, and he chose muskeg, which is a type of peatland biome that kind of happens in more Arctic climates. So it's kind of like almost like a swamp that happens in Arctic biomes. And then reishi is a type of mushrooms. And you can get reishis in the Long Dark and use them to make tea and stuff like that. I've had reishi tea in real life. It's pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with both of those names. And the next thing that we really need to do is get that ghast. I'm thinking I don't see why we couldn't just raise the ghast in the pen that the ghast is going to live in. So let's get that started. Aw, little guy. Okay, well, we got a long wait for him to be ready. And while we're waiting for him to get ready, I need to go get snowballs and make a saddle. I have realized that I don't have any snowballs, so I'm going to need to make a little tiny farm down here so that I can get some snow and apparently uncover a hole here. It's just a tiny little place for now. It's going to have to do because I only have 20 minutes, so this will be very temporary for this poor little snow golem. And I can't remember if it's 1 or 2, so I'm going to put 2 just in case. And we'll see what happens. Boom. Okay, perfect. I need you to move, sir, so I can get more snow. Oh, I have silk touch. Good job. Okay, I will be back with a regular shovel. You can tell I've never made a snow farm before. I'm doing fantastic. Very nice. Now we can come get snow whenever we need it. We can also get snow layers if we want to build with those. I think that should be enough, but maybe I should stay here for a little while because I think it makes them grow up faster. So I think I'll stay here, get some extra snow, and then we will head up and wait for our ghast. I'm still waiting for our ghast to rehydrate, but in the meantime, muskeg grew up, so let's tame muskeg. Nice, and we'll have to get some chests to add on later. I'm not sure if this is a new wandering trader or a different one. I'm gonna check them out. What do you got? Looks like a new one. Ooh, eye blossoms. We didn't get any of these. I don't know if we could go back to that biome and bone meal for him, but I'm very tempted to just go get these. Hopefully I won't miss our ghast. I will be right back with emeralds. Yay! I bought 7 of them. Perfect. Let's see, anything else? No thank you, but the eye blossoms I've been waiting on for a hot minute, so thank you for those. Little guy! Hello! Snowballs! Oh my goodness, what little noises. Oop. Get back here. You gotta stay out of the little spot there. I don't want you to suffocate. No. Get back over here, sir. Oh, and you're big. And now you live here. Okay, I don't think they should be able to leave. Let's give them their saddle. Perfect. So we got the brown one. I like brown. It's my favorite color, and it's got like this little nice gold border, so that's what we're doing. And then we're going to name him. And this is Beetle. Beetle is named after my favorite character from the Zelda franchise. I really like Beetle. I think he's amazing and very awesome. Okay, now let's see if I built this correctly and if I can get out of here without hurting our new ghast. Okay. Woohoo! It worked. Okay. So now we can actually see our base from a completely different perspective. Yay! It's kind of crazy seeing the base from up above like this. It makes everything look kind of small, even though down there everything feels really big. Well, here's a great view of all the work I did on the lake. It looks really good from up here. I still need to add some stuff to it because I don't think I want it to be just mud like this, but it's looking pretty good. Our tiny little portal island. I don't normally make it to getting an elytra, and truth be told, I've never fought the Elder Dragon by myself, so I'm a little anxious about that. I'm also a little anxious about having to do all of the end game bridging all by myself. I'm worried about falling into the void, but we'll get there eventually. It's kind of crazy how the difference of perspective of being up here makes it look like I haven't really done very much yet, even though this is probably the most I've ever built in the Minecraft world before. I'm pretty excited to have this guy. I wish I could have had him when I was building this, because I think it would have made this a lot easier for me to work on back then. I think I would have been able to put more detail and effort into it without getting so frustrated. The first order of business with our ghast friend is to remove this dirt block that an Enderman put here. Boom. And now let's bring Beetle back into their pen. And there we go. Now we got Beetle in there, and I don't think that they can get out through here because of this here. I think that I have to be all the way on the ground, so if this is closed, I don't think they can get out. I think this is the first time I've had all the mounts since they added the camel. A very long time ago, I used to have the horse and the donkey and the mule, but now that we've got 2 new mounts, it's really cool to have all of them in one place and be able to use them all for different uses. I think the ones we'll probably get the most use out of are probably the Ghast, the mule, and the donkey, because they just have like those extra kind of features that makes them a lot more usable in like day-to-day Minecraft play, I think. But if we ever want to just go for a little tiny jog around the place, we'll definitely want to take the horse for that. And like I said earlier, if we ever want to find a faster horse or a different color horse or anything like that, we can do that too. I just really like the coloring of this one, and that's why I went for this one, regardless of whether or not they were fast. I'm pretty happy with that. Oh, it's nighttime. Let's get some sleep. And I think in here I'm going to keep some snowballs just in case, as well as this extra lead here. I might go ahead and get 1 or 2 more saddles or something to put in here. And I know I could put armor on this guy, but I want to be able to see the coloring that he has because I think he's really cool. So I'm not going to be adding that right now. And at long last, I can finally remove this temporary stable. I'm still going to leave this one here for extending the path because I'm not sure if I'm going to get to that right now, but we can finally get rid of this thing and start thinking about dreaming in that direction. It is admittedly a little bit weird looking over here and not seeing that stable here and not seeing the mounts here, but I don't think it'll take too long to get used to. And now whenever we want, we can get working on this path and lead it over to there so we can make a bridge to cross to that island that leads to the village. I think that'll be really cool. Let's take a moment to update our book and quill. Stables are done. We got the horse, we got the mule, and we got the Ghast. And we removed the temporary stable. So that really cuts down the tasks that we needed to get done. And with that, I think this will be the end of our episode. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you again. Bye.